All right, we're at the last question of the quadratic relations test review, question number 11, practicing converting the equation of the circle to standard form. By the way, I mentioned in the vocabulary section, this is the one time you're going to see general form of a circle, which basically looks like everything's been distributed, there's no parentheses, all the like terms have been combined. Let's change this to standard form, because that tells us what the center and the radius is. Okay, let's go through these. Step number 1, for those of you who are not willing to go take a look at your flip book, because all these steps are listed out there. Step number 1, put the terms in proper order. So all my x terms go together. I'm going to go through this relatively quick because you should know how to do this. Negative 2x plus y squared plus 6y minus 12 equals 0. Step number 2. And you could have done step number 2 and step number 3 together, but step number 2 is move the constant to the other side. Equals, going to change from negative 12 to positive 12. Okay. Next thing we do in here, let's figure out what our numbers are to complete the square. Well, we're going to find for the x terms what's b over 2 squared. Our b value here is right here. That's negative 2 over 2 squared. Negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. There's our first number to complete the square. How about our y terms? Our y terms, we're going to also use b over 2 squared. Our b value here is positive 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 3 times 3, and that is 9. So our next step along the way of completing the square is we're going to rewrite our equation and make a space for these new c values. X squared minus 2 plus 1 plus y squared minus 6y plus 9 is equal to, there's our 12, and then we're going to have to add the 1, and we're going to have to add the 9 to this side. Because we added it to the left side, we got to add it to the right side. Okay, the next step is we're going to factor these 3 terms and factor these 3 terms. We're going to combine these 3 terms. So the way we do that is we're going to find what is b over 2. b over 2 will allow us to factor this one quickly. B value is still negative 2. It doesn't change. Negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. There's our number to factor. For the y values, b over 2 is equal to negative 6 over 2, which is negative 3. And now basically we can just write our final answer, because our final answer is going to be x. This minus 1 goes here. There's our factoring of these first 3 terms. Then we're going to go ahead and add y. Here's our number that factors our y terms, y minus 3 squared. Let me see something here real quick. That is a plus y. You know what? I've got plus 6y. And then I just realized I changed this to minus 6. That's actually plus 6. Which means that this changes. Hang on a second here. That's going to be positive 3. Just caught that. This is y plus 3. And now we're going to take these 3 terms, and those are all going to be combined. 12 plus 1 is 13. Plus 9 is 22, and we have just changed to standard form. I would suggest you pause the video, follow those same steps to practice more. Hopefully you've been practicing last week and this week. Let's go ahead and do letter B. Hopefully you've paused it now and you've given this a shot. Let's go ahead and do this. First step, let's put them in proper order. X squared minus 8x plus y squared plus 2y plus 8 is equal to 0. Now we're going to take the next step. We're going to move the c term to the other side. This is x squared minus 8x plus y squared plus 2y. When 8 moves to the other side, here's our 8. When it moves to the other side of the equal sign, it will change to the opposite, which is negative 8. All right, let's find our b over 2 squared for our x values. b is negative 8. Negative 8 over 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. There's our first one. And then for our y values, b over 2, our b value for the y, let me go ahead and underline that so we can see it, is actually positive 2. So we've got positive 2 over 2, which is 1 squared, which is equal to positive 1. All right, our next step is we're going to rewrite this step. And let's write in our new c values to complete the square. We've got x squared minus 8x plus 16 plus y squared plus 2y plus 1. And now we take the negative 8 from above and we're going to add 16 and we're going to add 1. All right, next step, let's figure out what is the value to factor. So we've got b over 2. Our b value is always the same. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. And then for our y terms, whoops, change that color. For our y terms, we've got b over 2 equals 2 over 2, which is equal to 1. And now we can write our our standard form. It's going to be x. This negative 4 goes here. That basically factors the first 3 terms. It's going to be y plus 1. That's going to factor the next 3 terms. And then we're going to add these values together. Negative 8 plus 16 is positive 8 plus 1 is 9. Got it. Next one, class. Now, I'm going to assume at this point that you can show all the steps clearly, just like you've seen as the example. Practice this. Please show all of your steps so you can get credit for your work. When you get down at the bottom here, I'm going to go ahead and write the final answer that you can check. This is going to be x plus 2 squared plus y plus, and I'm not going to write this number for those of you who are choosing just to copy and not actually do your work. That number in that circle is going to be positive 4. So it's x plus 2 squared plus y plus 4 squared. And our final number here on the end, again, I'm going to put a little circle so those of you who are paying attention know what I'm doing here. The number inside of that circle is 25. So your final answer is x plus 2 squared plus y plus 4 squared is equal to 25. If you're able to complete the square on this one, good job. You'll be able to get that answer correct on the test. And that is the end of test review.